thing on? Hello?
Yeah, it sure appears to be. Episode 49 of the Cool Dog Podcast is happening right now. Welcome back to Cool Dog. All right. We can sit here in silence for a little bit so you calm down.
No. I'm just... I mean, if you all understand... Or if you're watching the podcast right now, you might be wondering, where am I? And if you can not tell by now, but I'm in jail.
He's been taken captive by a man in Kentucky. He went to walk his dog, and next thing you knew, he was in the back of a truck, and now there he is in his little hole.
And it's not fun, and no, this is not permanent. So keep your comments to yourselves, ladies, because I know they're going to be the first.
What are the ladies going to say?
They're going to say, "Look at this guy, minimalist ass background. I bet his bed doesn't have any he doesn't. I have a headboard, and it's above the ground. And yes, this is how I live, but that's okay."
Let me just put a statement out there. Some might think this isn't true, but it is the reality. Motherfuckers with no bed frame, their penis game crazy.
This guy gets it.
I get it.
This guy gets it.
And I'm not just saying that because I didn't have a bed frame for 6 years. I'm saying that because science backs it. There's statistics and there's been research. The penis game do indeed go crazy.
Listen, when I didn't have a bed frame either, and I was depressed as hell in my old basement, I may have been depressed as shit, but my dick game went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got to balance. You got to counterbalance, kind of, with that.
The streets were saying. I was hearing the
streets of Kentucky they were hollering.
No, for real.
This dick game's going crazy. The guy with no bed frame. I was like, yep. You heard
the one man
folks.
in Kentucky with no bed frame.
I couldn't walk outside my house without it looking like the Team 10 house back in the day, where like fans outside my house standing waiting for photos and shit. And I was like, oh, because I got some good dick or something. Like, hello, news to me.
The thing about me though is that if the outside of my house looked like that, I'm lobbing rocks. I'm throwing things.
You're lobbing rocks, and I'm throbbing cocks. What? Dude, this microphone got hacked. I don't know what the hell I just said.
That's kind of crazy that you just said that.
What? Take two.
Staring at those white walls got you thinking about all sorts of things.
No, actually, though, like, I've had COVID, by the way, guys, for fucking... I actually don't have it anymore, but I had it for like a week. And I'm not gonna lie, like, genuinely sitting in this like white box room, just sitting on my bed all day, it does something to a man. And it made me feel a little bit fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of awful.
That is amazing what isolation and like lack of dopamine does to a man. It's you don't think you've felt crazy until that happens. Then you're like, I definitely feel a little bit off. Yeah. Also, every now and then, if you hear a little bit of an electrical interference coming from Hoover's mic, it's the military checking in because he's under military supervision. Mm-hmm. And
they're watching me like a goddamn hawk.
Yeah, they're monitoring his internet usage. And every now and then they kind of cut into his audio and see what's going on in there.
So if you hear that, that's why. I'm sorry. I tried to get him out of my fucking computer, but the spyware is too hard to crack. So... And, I'm also recording this on my mom's laptop where everything's lagging. So I might as well be staring at a fucking blank screen as this podcast is going on. But what is this brand? Dude, what the fuck is a Sonic Master? Like, I've never seen this shit in my life. Oh, it's an Asus.
Oh my God. Classic. Asus. All the kids in my school, in like middle school, who had an Asus laptop as their family computer, those are the kind of kids, like, they would fucking put holes in the walls. They would yell at their mom. They would like kick other kids with their legs. It was pretty serious.
Damn. No, yeah, my mom fucking uses this for like nothing, and she has a sticker on it that says "Love that journey for me" with like a pink hat, and then another sticker that says "Have a good day." So like, this is not exactly a fucking Reddit master PC master race PC where I'm like, oh, this is perfect for me. You know, I can do anything on this. I tried streaming once off of this PC with like a fucking Google Chrome tab open. And it was too much for it to handle. So if I ever stream on this again, I just have to have OBS open because if I read chat on this fucking laptop, it's gonna like freeze and overheat and break and explode.
So what's going on in your life? What's the day-to-day haps? How are you feeling?
You know, had COVID, which sucked.
Amen.
Did not feel good. I know that you're currently dealing with some COVID symptoms. You have what is it you said? You have like fatigue, your balls are shrinking, and like you have a
My
what is it?
balls
Low temperature?
my balls look like 2 old raisins at this point.
Yeah. What the hell? Dude, COVID is crazy. Dude, I told you should have got the shots if you're gonna have fucking raisin balls.
I just, okay, and if I get the shots, my penis gets smaller. So like
Mm,
it's a trade-off. I'd rather the balls shrink than the old dog in the middle.
to each their own. You know, right now mine is kind of evened
You
out
would
since I've had COVID and the shots.
you would have bigger balls than wiener? You want bigger balls?
I don't want bigger balls. I've had COVID now, so I got the smaller balls with the smaller wiener because I got the shots too.
Right.
Mm.
Interesting. I thought you were trying to go for like
But
that
yeah,
old like Greek statue look, you know what I mean? Where the
no,
penis
I
is
definitely
small
do
but the
have that
balls are
old.
huge.
I do have that Greek statue look. I'm not gonna lie. Um,
Oh,
that's
good for
TMI.
you.
I'll move past it. It's not exactly something to be proud of. Um, but you know, besides having COVID and the shrinkage, I'll just say that. Um, Life has been all right. I mean, I don't have a setup still. Still waiting on literally everything from the Austin house to ship over to this house.
Hmm.
And today I was hopeful to get some. This is like really sad. It sounds like I'm a fucking fourth grader. I ordered these like flavor ice popsicles that like you put in the freezer and they freeze and then
Hmm.
you can like fucking push them up or whatever. I was
Hmm.
so happy because I ordered them on Amazon and I was like, oh my god, they're coming in today. And then I fucking realized that I ordered them to the Austin house. So
Oh
then
my
I had to
god.
fucking like, oh, I went outside looking for it. I was like, dude, I don't see where it is. Like, I guess they fucking put it at the wrong house. And then I checked the photo of them taking like the outside of my house with like where they left the package, and I see it's the fucking Austin house. And I was like, no. So like the
Let's
one
just
little
say
thing in
that
life that I'm looking forward to is not here.
that family in that house is feasting now. They're having a great home warming meal. They're having they thought the landlord came through.
No, that's the thing is I don't think first of all, I don't think anyone's in the house, which is like kind of interesting. Like that house is abandoned. And like
Mm.
if you all can go roaming in it if you want.
Yeah, we'll give you the
Actually,
address. You can
yeah.
go check it out.
We'll give you the address. First letter or first number is 1. Every single
Mm.
episode we'll give another number away. But
And the second letter is 7, the third is 6, the fourth is
6
3.
3. At least we both said 3 because it is 3. And so go ahead and pull up there. Next episode we'll give the street address. Just kidding. I'll give it right now. Journeyman Street.
Journeyman. That's I
Yeah.
guess I must have never actually looked at the address. I was even caught off guard by that. I never
You
thought about it.
probably didn't.
I
It's
looked at it, but I
Journeyman.
never. There's a difference between a reading and understanding, and that's what I read, but I didn't understand.
Yeah. Zip code 78717. Besides that, I've like having COVID and leaking our address. I've been watching The Sopranos finally now,
Oh,
and I
amazing!
know that you've been waiting for me to watch it, and I've been watching it a little bit, and it's been good, good ass
Hmm.
show.
How far in
Love
are you?
Tony. I'm on, I think episode 6, 5. I think I'm not that
Hmm.
far ahead. I'm only in season 1 because I want to
Only
savor
gets
the moment.
better.
I know, and I'm excited to see what else happens in it because I have not given a shit about any single show until just now with Sopranos. I was like looking for a new show, and I was like, you know what? I'll start Sopranos now while I have COVID and my brain is like infected. And then I did,
Mm.
and now I'm cured. So great show, cures COVID.
COVID really
What have
is
you been up
an
to?
infection of the brain. It really, for me, it's really most of the battle. It's not physical. I'm physically, I put me in a creator class ring right now. I'll kill anyone that I face. But
Ooh.
put me in a debate of words, and I'll fold like a chair. I don't have it in me.
Mm, I know you,
I'm
man.
very
When I
I'm very vulnerable right now.
when I had it the first day and I didn't even realize it was COVID, I literally like fainted. I think one day. I think I literally fainted that day because like I remember. I don't know why. When I had COVID, I literally just couldn't sleep at all. You know,
Hmm.
like I remember like walking around my house and I felt like I was like disassociating. I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on? And like I remember staring at myself in the mirror for like 5 minutes. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh my god, I just feel awful. And I literally remember like laying down on my bed like a fucking like those old ladies in like the help I fallen and can't get up videos. And like I just like laid like this on my bed and I just remember fucking passing out and I woke up and I was like, what the fuck? It was like 5 a.m. because I just like passed out like 9. And I was like, what the fuck just
Damn.
happened? It was not
Yeah,
fun.
I had a moment of I think at one point I slept close to 20 hours in one day, which was
Damn.
that was just I and the thing is like to stop myself from sleeping as much, I tried to sleep in like the most uncomfortable places. Like my living room couch isn't really great to sleep on. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna lay
Mhm.
down here for a second. I just feel tired and I'm gonna recharge. And then even if I fall asleep, I'll be awake after like an hour because it's so uncomfortable. And then I open my eyes, I look at my phone, and I'm like, fuck, it's been like 6.5 hours.
Oh my god.
And my neck was in this
Wait,
like
but
fucked up position because like I couldn't fit on there, and
ooh.
it was terrible. But other than that, man, I've been facing the void, man. I've been listening to music, looking at yesterday.
Mm.
I had Spotify open and I just listened to music and looked at Spotify for 4 hours. I did nothing else, and I
That's kind of powerful, I'm not gonna lie. Like just being able to sit there and do one thing, like I feel like I would never be able to do that.
I just I was a total prisoner to it. I couldn't do anything else. I was I tried even playing video games and I was like, this is too much stimulation. Like I'm just not here for it. I need to. And then I would just close my eyes and listen to music. And I was like, okay, if I'm not looking anywhere, I'm not actually aware of my existence. So this is good because that was like the big problem for me was just this constant disassociation. That gets really bad for me with COVID because I remember the first time I got COVID was when we were all playing Rust. And
Oh my god. Dude, that was so long ago.
yeah,
God
to be
damn.
fully honest with you, I remember like two things from that week. And
Oh my god.
it was getting COVID and then an acquaintance of mine passed away and it just made the uh whole time just a lot more confusing to deal with because I was just like laying in bed, my legs felt like they were on fire, and then I was like, "Oh man, like this really cool guy I know is now dead. Like, what is it? How does that happen?" And then like, I guess we would play Rust, but I honestly don't remember anything about the Rust. I remember maybe like, no, I don't remember anything to be honest with you.
Oh my god.
I just remember that Rust happened, and then the month after was terrible. Like it's just for me. It's literally just the worms in my brain. It's like fertilizer for the worms. The worms they all start crawling around as soon as COVID hits, and I become too preoccupied
Mm.
with that. So,
Those
but I have
fucking
been trying
those
to.
COVID worms go crazy.
They do no, they change everything. They change your whole perspective on life. You know, like a week and a half ago, I felt like the world was mine. Now I feel like God's calling. I feel like it's coming. It's on the way. Um, but yeah, no, I try to go for walks.
Ooh,
I
that's
tried
nice.
to. Yeah, you got to go for walks. That's the main thing. Is if you feel a little bit trapped, you have to let the fucking wind hit your face. The wind is like It's this like kiss from
Mm-hmm.
God saying, I talk a lot about God, but I don't really believe in the guy.
Really?
No, I don't think so. I don't
I think this is where
disbelieve,
the
but like
podcast
I don't
ends because,
believe.
like, I mean, like, there is one true God.
Did you grow up thinking that there actually was a God? I mean, could still
Here's
be,
a
but it was.
That's the thing with me, right? Is like I grew up Catholic, like not exactly Catholic. I just went to like Catholic schools and like I had all like the Catholic things where like I did confirmation, baptism, communion, whatever. But I remember it was like because this is another thing. This is like kind of not related, but like that one like photo. I remember I talked to you about it where it's like when you picture an apple in your mind, you picture the apple. Like, can you see the apple like in 3D visibly in your brain? I remember you're like, yeah, I can. And I was like,
Mhm,
I really can't. I mean, I can like kind of imagine, like, I can really descriptively like imagine it in my head, like right here, but like I don't see it when I close my eyes right there. And with
right.
me as a kid, God was like that, where it's like I thought like I just had to try hard, and then like I would maybe see God and be like, oh, or like I would hear God. Like I remember hearing people talk about like, oh yeah, like I heard God, like God spoke to me, and I was like, what? And I was like, how the fuck is God talking to them, like, and not talking to me? Like, I guess I gotta try harder. So like I like pray sometimes, and I'm like, whatever. And I was like, he's not saying anything. And so then at one point I was like, maybe this is like, and this is not me like saying this is not like a fucking meta commentary on religion. I thought maybe it was just like kind of like a Santa Claus thing where everyone like they're like going along with the thing where like, oh, I was hearing God, and like everyone was like going along with this thing. And so then I was like, yeah, like I hear God too, and like I see God in the trees, and I see Him everywhere. And it's like, I mean, it's not exactly something I just think about. It's like as a kid, I tried, and I was like, I really just it's not the thing for me. I don't really care. Like I'm gonna live my life how I want to live my life. If there is a God, cool. If there isn't, I mean, I don't know. I'll be dead. So it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, being raised Catholic, quote unquote, I mean, didn't really do anything for me, but I did have a moment where I was like, "Is there a God?" And I tried to kind of go along with everyone and be like, "Yeah, there is a God. Like, I see God in the trees, and I see Him in the animals, and I like find like connections. Like I try to kind of piece together little things. I'm like, that's God right there. And then I was like, I mean, if it is, it is. But like, I'm not exactly searching for that. I need to like fix my like depression. You know what
Would
I mean?
you
Like,
would you
I gotta fix
pray?
that first. I I was a very I was a very selfish prayer. Like I don't think like I think technically in like Catholicism you're not supposed to like pray for like I used to pray for like shit. I used to pray for like give me an Xbox and like give me a DS and shit like that. I wasn't like praying for like people in like countries to get like food and world peace. I was like praying for like can I get the new like Pokemon game? And I
Mhm.
thought maybe that would work. And then I remember hearing in school one time like you can't be like praying selfishly because that's not what God intends for you to do. You're supposed to pray for others and like blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, whatever. I'm not praying anymore. So then I didn't really pray that much after that, and unless I had to because since I went to like a Catholic school, every single lunch we would pray before we ate. We do like in the
Mm.
name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen, and then be like, "Blessed our Lord, these I gifts we're about to receive, and I learn be blessed our Lord, Amen." And then we had to fucking then we could eat. And if you ate before that, you were like going to hell or some shit. I don't even know. But yeah, I had a little bit of a religious era, some would say.
I was
What about
almost
you?
sent to Catholic school, which is like very pretty rare for Estonia. And people don't really. It's not a common thing. I was almost sent to Catholic school when, oh geez, I must have been like 13 or 14. It's
Damn.
when like I first started showing signs of mental illness, and my like everyone got involved in this debate. My extended family, my immediate family, everyone kind of like lost their minds. They're like, "Oh boy, there's something going on with this boy. We don't know what to do with him." Like,
Send him to Catholic
and
school.
then
God will cure him.
yeah, and then one of my relatives came up with the idea of that basically, and I don't know if it was rooted in as much of God fixing it, but I guess they thought that the regimen in the school would have been beneficial. Not even like the religious part of it, just I guess the other sides of the curriculum. And
Mm-hmm.
I see. Here's the thing: is right. This was not too long after where I was going to like a small countryside school, and there was literally one religious kid in the school. I'm trying to remember what religion he practiced. It was definitely like some it was some offspring of Christianity, but it wasn't
Mm.
exactly that. But he got bullied, man, because he was the one religious kid. Everybody just like he would walk through the hallways and be like, "Yo, what's up, Jesus?" Like everyone would just like it was like I don't
Damn.
like people say Christians cannot be oppressed. I saw it happen, man. That motherfucker was oppressed. Like it was he was fighting for his life every single day. And I mean I because that was the environment I was in, I never particularly myself held any qualms towards him for being religious, but because I was a dumb kid and that was the environment I grew up in, I definitely was like, well, I'm not going to be religious because, like, look at what happened to that kid, you know?
He's gonna
So
get beat
when
up and called. You're gonna get called Jesus.
the crazy thing is like, I don't think like anyone would have been able to beat him up. Like, I got into a fight with him once. He could have kicked my ass. He spared me, but I got into a fight with him for a different reason. But he was like one of the shortest dudes in the class, but he was very like, he could like wrap around your legs. He could do some damage. Like he was very
Oh my
flexible.
god.
He knew his way around a man. Like he knew how to really take you down. Um, so nobody really dared to take it a step further. Um, and yeah, I mean, I didn't end up going, but I sometimes I do wonder like how my life would have been impacted if I did go, uh, because I don't know. I'm like trying to think of like how I probably wouldn't be here. To be honest with you, I probably would have gone down another path in life. God knows what, but probably wouldn't have spent as much time on the computer because I feel like the school would have been a bit more strict, and that's the reason why I got away with it more. Was my other school just I just knew how to work the system, I guess.
Yeah, dude. Fucking Catholic schools. Like I went to Catholic schools my entire life, which I don't know if many people even know about that because I don't even know if I've really even talked about it on the pod. But like
Mm,
I've went to private school and Catholic school my entire life. Not rich by any means. I just got like scholarships to fucking help out paying for it. Like I
oh,
was
he's a
everyone. I remember
genius.
when I went to high school, especially like there were fucking kids where like their parents were like millionaire, billionaire people, and then I'm like, yeah, like I got a scholarship, I got like a thing helping me out, and they're like, oh, cool, and then they're like, yo, like for like spring break though, like we're gonna go on our yacht and like go party and shit. Like you want to come? And I'm like, yeah, sure, sounds fun. But I remember, dude, fucking Catholic and private school like rules, like it's so fucking weird with like what they're strict about. Like I remember girls and like our fucking middle school when they like wore skirts a little too high, they would have to fucking
Mm,
like they would get like a little like thing and be like, "Hey, put your skirt down a little bit," and be like, "You can't have your skirt up that high," or like, "You can't show your legs that much." And it's like dumbest shit in the world, but like they were so weird because we were all in uniform, and like also if I didn't have my shirt tucked in, that would be like a what's it called? Like, hey, I could give you a detention for that, which is like the most insane thing on earth. But like back then, it was like so normalized to me. We're like, okay, I guess I gotta fucking have my shirt tail tucked in at all times. Because if not, then like
mm.
I'm gonna get like a detention. And yeah, it was kind of crazy looking back at it now.
Detentions to me seem a little bit crazy. I've never had detention culture. Actually, one time I did, but you had to like mess up real bad to get into detention, and that's what happened with me and the boys. We got a little bit too silly, and then even then it was really nice because we just went and sat in detention with the art teacher, and she just gave us a bunch of arts and crafts, and we just sat there and made things. So it wasn't really a punishment at all. Honestly a blessing. She was a great woman, and I always enjoyed her company. So
Yeah, that sounds like actually a lot of fucking fun compared to my detention. Like, dude, my first of all, like in middle, like elementary school, middle school, we had a thing called homework hall, which
Mhm.
was not detention, but like if you didn't turn in your homework, you would have to stay after school, complete the homework, and then like wait until like you would be in there for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then you'd
Mhm.
go and do that, and then after that you'd be able to go. But you just have to go back and like fucking like do your homework that you missed in the homework hall. And I used to live in homework hall when I was like in middle school because I was just like, you know what, I don't fucking care. I don't want to do homework at home. Like fuck this shit. I'm just gonna do homework hall every time. Like I don't care. Like I'm gonna go turn it in, and then guess what? I fucking turned it in the next day for like 3/4 credit. I'll take that every day in the week. This shit doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I used to live in homework hall, and I was like, okay, this is fine. But then I got to high school, and this is like a fucking psychological like torture mechanism that we had to do when we got a detention, which was um if you would have to do something like actually bad to get a detention. I mean, I got one before because I came into my final late, which was like the craziest one I think I ever got. And there also were teachers that were like insane and like handed out detentions for farting in the class. Like not even like a comedic fart. Like just they just happened to fart, and the teacher heard it and was like, I heard that. I'm giving you detention, and they'd write them up a fucking detention for farting in the class. And they thought,
No,
oh,
they're
that's a
they're
good
real for
idea.
that too. Though I do that with my girl. My girl, when she farts, I send her right into the penalty box. That's not okay.
Your girl.
No, not I'm not a girl. My girl.
No, I know your girl. Like, what do you mean your girl? This is news to me. And what? Hold on. What do you mean penalty box?
No, I don't want to. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't really need to get into that more.
You punish your girlfriend for farting? That's a little bit crazy.
I just think it's gross.
Well, girls don't even fart, so you must be like, I don't know. That must be some kind of myth that you're just making up.
You never saw a girl get sent to detention.
No, girls go to heaven, boys go to detention. That's kind of how life works. Is boys are
Damn.
bad, girls are good, and so I mean, you look at the letters. Good starts with a G, girl starts with a G, boys start with a B, bad starts with a B. So there's never any girls in detention. But in high school, the detention that we had was you would have to fucking stand for 30 minutes and stare at a wall.
Oof, that
Nothing
is
else.
torture.
You couldn't do anything. And sometimes you would get one for an hour. So you'd just be standing there for an hour staring at the wall, and there's no clocks in the room to tell you how long you've been standing there. You're facing the wall like this, and so then there's a teacher that's in there that just like watches your back, and you're just standing there looking at this wall for 30 minutes to an hour, and it's just like the fucking most boring, useless piece of shit ever. So
They
like
had
it
you in
literally
the
felt like
hole
going to
like tape,
prison.
man. They had
They
you right in
did.
the, they had you in a Romanian prison.
They literally did, and it was so fucking up. I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" Like, I cannot believe this is like 18. This seems like an 18th century like torture thing for like people that would go to jail. Like, I literally felt like I was getting locked up every single time I fucking had it. But I mean, I quickly grew to be like, okay, I'm not gonna do this shit ever again because this is like fucking bullshit. Just stand here after school for 30 minutes to an hour, just staring at a wall. So I didn't really get that many, but I remember when I got one after my final. That was like the worst because the finals were like during
Mm.
lunchtime, and after the final was done, you're allowed to like leave, and you could go. I could go anywhere I wanted. I could pick up food, and I was so hungry, and I just remember having to fucking go and stare at a wall for fucking 30 minutes. And I was like, "Oh my god, please! How long has it been?" And you don't know how long it's been because you don't. There's no clocks, and it's like, "Oh my lord, get me out of
That
here!"
is, that actually sounds like it could have psychological ramifications. Like if let's say like someone gets sent to do that enough, there I feel like eventually kid's gonna crack. And then you know what the worst part is? Probably most of the motherfuckers that they had doing that were just like ADHD kids, kids with undiagnosed ADHD that the teacher was like, "This is annoying." Yeah,
Hello,
like
right
you.
here. I
They
literally
were
had ADHD, and they're like, "This neurodivergent fuck's going to go stare at a wall for an hour. Have fun." Like, how am I supposed to do that without Vyvanse? Like, I don't know. I wasn't able to focus like that. And so then I remember I would talk to kids that like also in detention, and they'd talk about like what they do. I remember one kid knew how many fucking bricks were in the wall because that's
Oh
all he
my.
did during his fucking detention was he counted the individual bricks on the wall. He's like, it's like 143 or something on the back wall. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, I counted all of them, and I like double checked it too because I was like, I don't know what else to do. And it literally is like a prison. It's
They
not fun.
fucking they treat the terrorists in ATX Florence better than that. They at least give them some
Real.
fresh air.
Real, I know there no fresh air, nothing. There was literally just like staring. You stood there. You couldn't even sit down. If it was sitting down, it would have been a lot better. But standing there with my hands in my fucking pockets, staring at this wall for 30 minutes with no clock and not knowing how long time is going on with my fucking ADHD, it felt like 5 years. It was awful. I
Teachers
wish I
are
had more
like,
worse than me.
I don't know, man. I don't mean to continue my campaign of warfare on teachers, but
No,
they
speak your
really,
truth.
when I was a kid, it seemed like what a teacher says, that's God's word. That is like, that's, you got to listen to that, and it's gospel. It will forever remain that way. But looking back at it, a lot of them were kind of winging it. They were kind of like, oh fuck, and
Oh
I don't
yeah.
blame them necessarily, because if I had to fucking tame a group of children, I don't know what I would do. I like, they're crazy. Children, they kind of like live in this world of their own. You're not communicating. It's kind of like communicating with an extraterrestrial. You're not really like speaking on the same level. Your perception of reality is very different.
Mm-hmm. And they're always just like so hungry, and they like want candy and shit, and it's like that's why, like, I feel like the best teachers were always those teachers that, like, would have, like, the little candy jar on their desk, and then they'd go around and be like,
Mm.
"Okay, if you answer this question correctly, I'll give you a little Jolly Rancher from the bowl." And it's like, "So in 1772, what exactly happened in America?" And then they're like, "Oh, whoa!" And then everyone would, like, fucking actually want to pay attention and learn just so they could get, like,
You
a
ever
fucking
have
slice of candy.
you ever have like the gold stars where you'd get a gold star if you did something good?
Dude, I had in kindergarten, I'm trying to think if I actually had a star system. I don't know if I did. I think there might have been a grade where I did, but I don't remember. But I remember there was a year in kindergarten and we had a popsicle system. And I wanted to do this for my stream. And I might even still do it. So I think it'd be funny if I did it for like chatters that like
Mm.
redeem shit or whatever. But there was like a popsicle system where like everyone in the class had like a certain amount of popsicles. And like I think you start off the day with like five. And if you like lost all your popsicles, you had to call your mom. Like you had to go, you like call back home and be like, "This fucking kid lost all of his damn popsicle sticks." And then you'd be like, "Oh, you're doing something wrong. I'm gonna pulling a popsicle stick." And then they're like, "No, no, please." And it'd be like this whole fucking system where like, you don't want to lose any popsicle sticks because
Jesus.
if you lose enough, then like it's gonna be bad. So you'd want to keep all your popsicle sticks. And I remember one time I lost all my popsicle sticks and I had to call my mom, and I felt like I was gonna die. It was not fun.
Damn. Yeah, we never really had anything like that. We had a gold star system, and I got a lot of gold stars. I'm not gonna lie. You would get a gold star if you were kind of like a good Samaritan, if you did something good, or if
Mm,
you got good grades. But I didn't really care about the grades part. The reason why I got into it was we were at this like kind of school disco type of thing, and one of my boys, he this must have been like second or third grade. We weren't like in high school during this. It was a school disco, and he was crying on the stairs because he wanted to ask like any girl to dance, but he just couldn't do it. And then like he realized he missed his chance because all the girls were already dancing with all the boys. So I just went up to him. I was like, "Listen, man, it's all
damn.
right. Like you don't got to worry about it. Like you'll get your chance." And then like I was I like everyone was like, "Damn, like that was an incredible thing of you to do. Like you were there for him for that." And I'm not gonna lie, like I was like, "Holy shit, am I like the greatest person of all time?" Like I didn't think about it at the time, but then after that, it definitely went to my head, and
Oh my
I
god.
realized looking back at it, I started doing good things not because I actually gave a fuck, but more so because this teacher. So the way it would work is we would have diaries, which was kind of like notebooks. You kind of like try to journals where you note down. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, on this day I have this lesson, blah blah blah. I got this grade. And if you did something good on that day, the teacher would give you a gold star sticker, and it was one of those good stickers too, where it was glittery. It was kind of like 3D. It
Ooh.
was a very high quality sticker, and I fucking loved getting them in my book. So I definitely started to kind of farm them. It was very good for me because then I would show them to my parents, and my parents would think, "Oh wow, you really are the best kid." Because I think that's another thing that my parents did a lot when I was a kid was to ignore their own like parental shortcomings. If I did anything like even remotely correct, they'd be like, "Our kid is a genius! Like, holy crap, this kid is like."
He's a goddamn goat. He's the best kid of all
No,
time.
like this kid's gonna grow up and do something crazy because that's how it would be. Like I would come home and I on Friday I would show, hey, look, I got 2 gold stars, and they'd be like, holy crap, like you're gonna do good things in life. Like you seriously are a special kid. And it's like I do like one of them would be like, I gave my friend a lollipop, and then I went to the teacher, was like, hey, I gave my friend a lollipop. That's like a pretty good thing. And then the teacher would be like, sure, fucking leave me alone. Take your sticker.
It's insane that you'd go like you'd like do something and then you'd go self-report on your own good
I
deed just so
would.
you could get like
Or
the star.
there were times where I'd ask my friends to go tell the teacher for me because I realized that if I go tell the teacher too much, it's going to become transparent. I was very aware of how to manipulate things. I
Mm.
knew like every system that was associated to the school, I figured out how to manipulate to my will.
This dude's fucking. What are you like a master? You're the mastermind. You're like the Taylor Swift song. I'm a
I was
mastermind.
just incredibly fucked up.
You're doing it. I mean, here's the thing: is like it could have been worse. For like you're a mastermind, like manipulating like little kids into like being fucking assholes. But like, I mean, you're doing good things. Like ultimately, I mean, it's one of those like conversations. Was like the intent of the action is if it's good and the thing is or like whereas like if it's a bad intention but the act is good, like where's it stand morally or whatever, it's like I mean
Mhm.
you still are doing good things. It's not like the worst thing on earth, but like if you were like, yeah, I like manipulated kids into like giving me like better scores and like stealing stars, I'd be like, okay, that's a little crazy. But I mean like
Mm.
that seems like you're just being a good kid and you just, you're just
Well,
doing all you could.
I do wish I stole more as a kid. I never stole. That was the
Oh.
one thing my parents always told me. They said, you shouldn't steal because the police will send you to prison, which is kind of like true. And
Damn.
and like the thing is, like they literally like I remember so vividly one time we were watching this documentary about prisons, and it was like a maximum security prison, like fucking murderers and sex offenders were in this prison, and my parents would legitimately they would pause and they'd be like, if you steal, they're gonna send you there with them. And I was like, whoa. I genuinely thought if I got caught stealing, they would send me into the prison with grown men, and like I would just be in there with them. So I never did that. And thinking back at it, that is the time in your life to steal because they're not going to do shit. Worst part is like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe mom will have to go take it back, and then like mom will be mad, but it's like they're not gonna do anything. And I mean, even nowadays, I'm always of the sound mind that, go steal from Walmart, go steal from Target. If you need it, take it.
The
It's
big
like it doesn't
companies.
matter. Exactly. Because I don't know.
God.
I was the only time in my life that I've shoplifted was when my friend, when I was like 10, he was like, stop being a pussy and steal this keychain right now. And then I had like tears in my eyes as I walked out the store, and I was like so anxious. And it was the shittiest keychain also. It was just like, honestly, I probably did the store a favor by fucking stealing that shit because nobody was buying it. It was terrible.
Damn.
Yeah.
That kind of happened with me once when I was a little kid. I remember I was playing with these like I was like in this bookstore playing with like these like little wooden Thomas the Tank Engine things, and my
Mhm.
fucking ADHD ass just like had it in my hand, and I just like walked outside with it, and I completely forgot I even had it in my hand. My mom saw it and she's like, "You stole that!" And I was like, "No, I didn't mean to." And she was like, "You gotta go back and you gotta tell them that you stole it." She made me go back inside and go up to the fucking employee when I was like 5 years old and be like, "I'm sorry, I stole this. I didn't mean to steal it." Like, "Oh, that's okay." And then I just put it right back, and I was like fucking crying. And I was like under the same assumption as you were. Like when I was like a little kid, I literally thought like at 7 years old they're gonna like toss me in prison with like 32-year-old men that are like gonna fucking rip my arms in half and like literally like spit me out and eat me for dinner. And so I was like, oh my god. Or like I even thought like too like juvie, like the concept of juvie was just like kid jail. So I was gonna be like thrown into like kid jail with a bunch of like
Hmm.
crazy fucking little kids like locked in this like cell I can't get out of. And I was like, oh my god, I don't want to go to juvie. And I was like freaking out about juvie, and I was like, I don't want to go there. So I like trying to think about like only time I'd ever steal was from. I'm trying to think. I don't even really think I steal. I used to steal from this one shop, but that was because I knew the person that owned it. So I was like, ah, whatever. You know, like
Hmm.
it's coming out of their paycheck. It's fine. Like they don't care. It wasn't exact. It wasn't exactly even stealing. It was just more so like me taking it and be like, ah, and they're like, oh, you're not allowed to have that. And I just like fucking walked out with it. It's like, okay, whatever. You're not gonna do anything about it. I'm like 5 years old. So, but yeah, I was always also under the assumption like I was gonna fucking go to jail. I was gonna die in there, and I was gonna be there for like fucking 50 years because I stole like a packet of gum.
I mean, there's a point where adults reached where they realize it's just a lot easier to get your kids to not do something if you fear monger them. Like it was just always like that's what a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the adults in my life do. They would literally take the most like extreme version possible of any scenario, and they would say this will happen. Which I like. I think for some situations, I think it's kind of the right approach to take. You kind of have to, no matter how small the risk, you like, for example, talking to strangers in a random car with an old man pulls up and
Yeah,
says, "Hey kid, come over here." I think that it is kind of smart to be like, that old man will kidnap you, because
and he'll eat you.
the yeah, exactly. It's a terrible thing if it would happen. But yeah, I don't know. They just did that a lot with us, just like, well, like I've said, I've never peed in a pool because
Oh my god,
the
yeah.
my teacher would just always be like, the water around you will turn red just so that everybody can know that you peed in the pool. And
Oh my
I
god.
believed it. I never I think that was the thing about me as a kid too. Like, even though I mean, really, when now that I think about it, I'm kind of like, I was kind of like one of those Wall Street dudes as a kid, where I definitely found it very important to live within the system, but I manipulated the system for my benefit. You know what I mean? Like, I took the system as gospel, in the sense that I didn't want to pee in the pool and have the water around me turn red, but I would
Mhm.
manipulate the star system, the Good Samaritan system, the social credit score. I would make sure that mine would be as high as possible. So, and I think um, what made the stars worth it was the fact that at the end of the month they would all be counted up, and like it would be a public thing, and in front of the class, like, oh, this is the kid that got the most stars. Um,
Oh.
so you would get a shout out, and I mean, I was always
You got father
desperate
for
for
photo.
attention. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, so I'm not gonna lie, it got a little bit scary later on in school when all the teachers started having social media. I didn't like that at all. Like, I had one teacher where she was like, "Hey, everybody, follow me on Instagram."
Dude, oh my god. I remember god, what fucking grade was it? I remember I had a fucking teacher do that with like Instagram where like you could have gotten like extra credit if like you went to the school's like thing and did like I think you were like liked it or retweeted it or something or
You
like
got
did
extra
something on
credit
Instagram
for
with it.
fucking resharing their selfie
Yes.
on your story.
Yes, literally. It was something like that. It was some dumb shit like that. And I remember I was like, okay, fine. But like nowadays, if I did that shit, like hell fucking no. I'd make like a whole alt account for that shit just to fucking get some extra credit. But it was like so weird. I just remember like they were like wanting to push it on social media so bad. And it was like early on too. It was like early 2010. So like it wasn't as like huge as it is now, obviously. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you want to push for this? Like, why? And then it was like, oh, we'll give you extra credit if you do. I was like, okay, sure. But that shit.
To all the Cool Dog
Also,
listeners, you will get extra credit if you watch through all the ads. You do.
true. Also, I was gonna say, should we start like giving out stars to people in the comments? Like instead of reading them, we'll be like, all right, you get a star.
We should, because then encourage people to be more positive and help out their fellow Cool Dog listeners because Lord knows they need it.
They do. They fucking need it the most. So you all need to be on your best behavior. And next week's episode, we'll pick one person to get a star. And whoever has, I mean, you could get more. That same person could get another star the next week after that. So I mean,
Exactly.
if you all
Rack
want
up
to
those
step your
stars,
game,
y'all.
one person can get them.
Yeah, you just got to comment. We're not going to tell you what you got to comment or what you got to do, but let's just say we'll figure it out. All right. You just leave the comment.
We'll figure it out.
The brains of the operation will take charge and figure out what's next. You just leave it to us.
Big Brother is watching. So comment nicely and shit, you know?
In other news, the new Fast and Furious trailer came out. And
yes!
It's so stupid. Like they have a fucking Aquaman, what's his name?
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa. He's like a villain now, which I feel like by getting motherfuckers like Jason Statham and like John Cena and The Rock previously in all the movies, it's like Jason Momoa is a bit of a downgrade. I'm gonna be honest. Like, he's not really that exciting of a dude. I mean, maybe that's just me. I personally just don't really never seen the Aquamans, don't really care for them.
Me either.
But it just took me back to I used to really love the Fast and Furious franchise, and I still kind of love the movies. I'm not gonna lie, like they're kind of a good time, and they're especially the older ones are a bit of a time capsule. But it just always when I was like 10 or 9 years old, there were 2 movies that I had cried to, and it was Hachi: A Dog's Tale and Fast and Furious: Tokyo Drift.
Oh my god,
those are my 2. And I mean, Hachi: A Dog's Tale, if anyone's ever seen that, it's pretty obvious why.
Yeah.
But Tokyo Drift, I thought, was the coolest movie of all time when I was a kid. And this dude in the movie, I'm going to, listen, trigger warning, I'm going to spoil Tokyo Drift. But
No.
I think I actually talked a little bit about this when we were in Austin on one of the pods, maybe. But I rewatched Tokyo Drift for the first time in years with Trevor at his house. And I remember watching that movie as a kid thinking, wow, Han is the coolest dude. Like, holy shit. He is like the sickest guy. He has like really cool cars and he's like really chill. The movie is about this like American student who drag races at his high school, and then his mom's like, I don't know what to do with you. I'm going to send you to Japan to your father who hates you. So he has to go to school in Japan as this like fucking redneck American, and he's a high schooler, and most of the people in the movie are high schoolers. And then I started rewatching the movie and I was like, wait a minute, how old is Han? Because Han, he has like quite the lore to him. He was in like a bank robbery in Brazil before the movie. So you'd think, okay, this guy's got some age. In the movie, he's like 29, and you realize this guy just hangs out with high schoolers all day.
What?
That's
what the hell, Han?
It's like my childhood hero is just this fucking 30-year-old dude that just hangs around high schools all day.
That is so fucking weird. I didn't even realize that either. Like, I know who he is in the movies, but like, that is honestly really fucking weird to think about. Like, he's just like this guy everyone's like looking up to, and he's like, you're like, wait, hold on, how old is that guy? He's like, he's about to turn 30 next year. And it's like, what? Dude, I'm about to fucking graduate next year. Like, that's insane.
He's just, he's one of those dudes where he just keeps pulling up to those high school parties. And because I mean, so I guess maybe it's this advanced commentary of you watch it when you're younger and you don't realize how weird his behavior is because you think he's just chill like that. You think, oh, that's a chill ass 30-year-old, and then you grow up and you realize, wait a minute, that guy's creepy as hell. And it's this immersive experience of being groomed. you get to actually have that fucking look back where you're like, wait a minute, that was not right. That was not okay. You know what I mean?
That is such an insane way to put it. An immersive experience of being groomed. That's what the Fast and the Furious franchise is. Han is the experience of grooming. when you grow up.
And then he
You
dies. He
realize,
dies at the end of the movie, which is a spoiler that I was gonna say.
but spoiler again for the last movie. It was Fast and Furious. The dude's alive,
He's
which
alive.
doesn't make any sense. Which doesn't make any sense because if you watch the movie, you know that like he like goes out in a way where it's like so obvious that like he is dead. It like the fucking
Yeah.
shit explodes. Like there's no fucking possible way this man could ever be alive. And then in the
Mhm.
last Fast and Furious movie, you just see him again. He's like, "What the fuck? You're alive?" And he's like, "I had to run off." And it's like this whole thing. It's
Well,
like, what? That doesn't make any
what
sense.
makes it confusing is the fact that technically he's come back from the dead twice. It's he died in Tokyo Drift, which is the third movie, and that was his first appearance as a character, right? And then Fast and Furious 5 is where they do the bank robbery, and guess what? All of a sudden, Han is back. And I remember going to theaters to see Fast and Furious 5, and I was like, what? Okay, interesting. And then in the movie, they're kind of like they pull off the bank robbery, and Han's in this car with this hot babe, which I think Gal Gadot is the babe, I think.
Ooh.
Which is kind of hilarious how hard he must have fallen off that he dated Gal Gadot, and then he went back to hanging out at high schools.
That is an insane fall from grace. Be like, I'm down on my luck. My girlfriend broke up with me. Time to go back to my high school and start seeing what they're all up to.
Yeah, he just immediately did that. I mean, he fumbled the bad bitch, and he just immediately fucking caved in and just went there, I guess. And then I think in the 6th or 7th movie, they're like, "Oh, Han was just killed," and then you realize, okay, so actually, Tokyo Drift is like, it's like actually like chronologically, it's like the 7th movie. But then you realize, like, fucking the high schooler main character in the 3rd movie that was sent to Japan, they have him like reappear in the 7th one. But he, at this point, the actor is like 40 years old, so they have this like 40-year-old. They like do this cutscene where like Vin Diesel goes back to Tokyo to be like, "So they killed Han, huh?" And then this 40-year-old balding man is supposed to be a high schooler. He's like, "Yeah, man, they killed Han. I can't believe it. They killed, and Han was my mentor." And it's like, bro, now you're the fucking 40-year-old hanging around high schoolers. It's just none of it. Like, but the reason why they did it was because they accidentally created the most likable character of the series, but they accidentally also fucking killed him off immediately. So they're like, "Oh fuck, how are we gonna bring him back?" How are we gonna...
You're like, prequel, and then he does a bank robbery. And then it's like, "Oh, that's awesome. We'll bring him back."
Yeah, then they're like, "But we need to bring him back more because it's people love Han. Everybody's obsessed with Han."
Yeah, so then they're like, "Oh, the guy that's obviously died in a fucking explosion somehow like escapes," and then like they do this like whole fucking scene in the last movie where it's like he like fucking like crawls around. He's like, I got out, and I like hid from like people or whatever. I don't forget what this fucking whole backstory was because I don't remember a whole lot from that fucking last movie. But it was like such an insane thing.
The last movie was even stupid because they're like, "Oh, Vin Diesel has a secret brother, and it's John Cena."
Yeah. Then they also fucking at one point they're like, I think there's like some kind of like satellite that's like in the sky, and they don't know like I think it's gonna like destroy some shit or like it's gonna ruin their plan, blah blah blah. And they're like, we gotta go to space. So then they fucking send Ludacris and the other dude to like go to this one guy to like make the car like a rocket with a like a rocket engine, so then they can like fly it into space, and then they go into space and like they like do this whole like commentary. It's like, man, we're in space right now, and it's like, oh, that is crazy. They're talking about space while they're in space, but like meanwhile, it's still like, why are they in fucking space in a car? And then it's just the whole fucking movie seems like a fever dream. But honestly, that's what the movies are trying to go for at this rate.
Yeah, there's like 2 left. This is the second to last one, I guess. They're gonna do like a Hunger Games type of shit where it's like part 1 and part 2, and then. I could tell Vin Diesel was doing some high IQ plays, man. That guy's been in the press saying like, I understand why they didn't make that many more Lord of the Rings movies. Like, it's kind of hard to keep the. I think you call it like.
Dude.
I think he's like mythicalism or something. Like, it's hard to keep that story
Yeah,
going.
mythologies. I saw that. And then he also was like, I want Robert Downey Jr. to be like the next one because he wants there to be an evil character that believes in like AI and self-driving electric cars. And it's like, geez, I wonder who he wants like Robert Downey Jr. to be based off of. Like, he just wants to fucking. He saw him with like Elon Musk and Iron Man like 2, and they're like, you know what? You could be Elon Musk in this movie, and you'll be evil.
That's what Robert Downey Jr. is gonna be typecast for the rest of his career as Elon Musk.
The Elon Musk typecast, the self billionaire who like loves self-driving cars, electric cars, all kinds of shit.
Like Joe
can't wait for
Pesci
that
always
movie.
gets typecast as like an Italian criminal. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
is Elon Musk. We need an Elon Musk biopic, man. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh, dude, that's the thing is like that's literally going to happen one day, and it's like who the fuck is going to play that person? Is it going to be like Rami Malek, or is it going to be like I don't know? Like who? Like literally, who is it going to be? Like that's like the first person that came to my mind because like he kind of could pull it off. He doesn't really exactly have like the eyes as Elon Musk, but like I mean he could.
He has the mannerisms. He has like he could easily pull it off.
He could. I mean, he did an alright job at Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that movie is it's definitely an I mean I fucking hated how it just felt like everything had what's the term for it? A tilt shift or some shit where everything's like super blurry, like everything's the focus is very enhanced. I'm just saying shit, but like you get what I mean. I just hate
you know, all that shit.
I just hated that. I hated that look. But I don't know. I actually kind of want to see that now. Rami Malek as Elon Musk.
That would be insane. I'm really trying to think of like any other actor that could actually play him, and I'm like, I don't know, like something about Rami Malek just like fits the bill. It's like, okay, that makes sense.
Jesse Eisenberg, they could have him honestly.
True. Any of the guys that like played tech gurus before, they could just like fucking put like CGI like makeup on them and shit, and they could be Elon Musk. Or I don't know why. Like another person that came to my brain was like, I don't know what his name is, and I'm sure I'm gonna get it wrong, and people will be like, "How do you not know his name?" His name is like Hans Mikkelsen or something like that, isn't it?
Oh, Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. I don't know why, for some reason, like in my brain, like if he is able to pull it off, I feel like he could. I don't know why, but I was like,
fucking crazy.
Like it would be kind of crazy. He's like such a good actor, but like it'd be such like a random role for him to be like main lead guy. And he's Elon Musk, but
Robert Downey Jr. No, not Robert Downey Jr. Rob Pattinson is what I meant to say. Robert Pattinson, because he's got like
okay, I could kind of see that.
He's got the paleness, and if you let him age like 15 years, I feel like he could grow into it.
No, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, you can't do that shit like right now, but like he's also kind of got like the head shape of Elon Musk. Not like Robert Downey Jr. has a great jaw. He's got a good jaw. He's got good bone structure. But like he's kind of like put some Play-Doh right here a little bit. You know, he could be Elon Musk in like 15 years. I could see it.
And then like
that'd be a crazy movie.
I mean, like, Grimes, you'd have to like cast someone to play Grimes.
Oh my god. Grimes is self-played.
Yeah. It would
Grimes
be like
yourself.
Directed by Grimes. It would be like a story written by. I would fucking watch the shit out of that. That would be so good.
Produced by Grimes and A24, the Elon Musk biopic. That's what it's called.
I just know that they would include the scene where like Elon Musk was going on that tangent in the fucking Twitter where he's like, pronouns. What do we all need these pronouns for?
This isn't you.
She's on like a private jet flying home. There's this like Hans Zimmer score in the background. It's like really dramatic.
Oh my god. Dude, okay. Elon Musk biopic. How much mention of Dogecoin do you think there's gonna be? Like that sounds like I'm being like a fucking 9gag person and be like, oh no, Dogecoin. But then you actually forget that like he actually is like the Dogecoin guy, and it's like, well, like how much would you bring up in the fucking biopic? Like a mention of it?
Yeah. I wonder if they would include the part of him going on SNL and like the public thinking he's gonna make it go to the moon, and then it flops.
Yeah. You
And then
recreate the
like,
SNL sketches. That would be
dude,
awesome.
I mean, if you get like fucking McKay, I forgot what his first
Adam
name is.
McKay.
McKay. Adam McKay, yeah, he would probably be the guy that's like, I gotta do some commentary on Elon Musk. That's like the most like fucking softball liberal shit you've ever seen in your life. Where there's like, oh, dude, here's the crypto bros getting mad at Elon Musk.
Yeah, and it's like him buying Twitter. And he's like, "Hey guys, I like Twitter," and then everyone's like, "Boo, boo!" And then it's like a shot of Elon Musk like looking at his Twitter account and like seeing all the notifications and like people be like, "You suck, kill yourself." He's like a little bit sad. He's like all like depressed about it. It's like, "Oh, you're supposed to feel bad for Elon because he bought Twitter and he made a fucking piece of shit."
I mean,
Like,
that's the craziest thing is like, if I had his money, I could literally list 100,000 things I would do to just like have fun. You know what I mean? Like I would go to Scotland tomorrow. I would go to Scotland tomorrow with Owen. I would go to Scotland. I would look at the hills, and we would get a tiny home, and we would just like we would hang around with the sheep for a bit. And then, I would buy like a house. I'd put all my friends in it. I bought a whole neighborhood, and I'd just let all my friends live in the neighborhood. It would be really fun. But there he is, fucking sitting on his phone, just as miserable as we are, because nobody fucking likes him. He wants people to like think he's funny, and nobody like, he has his little like, that's the thing too, is like, he's an intelligent enough of a guy where I know that he sees all the meat writers in the replies and he's like, oh, this is no good. They just want my dick. They want my meat. That's all they want.
They want their dick in my mouth.
So like,
and it's like, oh,
I know he sees through the facade, and he knows that he's living in this lie, and that's why I know that he cannot sleep. He says, oh, I tried to, any more than 6 hours is no good, but he can't sleep more than 6 hours because it keeps him up.
Yeah, he's just up all night on fucking iFunny. He's on iFunny. He's refreshing and like looking at all these fucking boomer memes that he's like, oh, I can post this one on my Twitter account tomorrow. And he like posts that one, and he gets like a bunch of fucking guys with like Dogecoins as their profile pictures, being like, "This is awesome, Elon. Keep posting." He's like, "These dick writers are crazy. The glazing is crazy." He's just like, I don't know what to fucking do with my life. These people I'm gonna have all these people that love me, but nobody else in the world will love me just like these people will, and it's sad because he can't buy them.
I genuinely like. I wanna follow around one of those dudes that like buys anything that Elon makes, like the fucking flamethrower. That was just like, it was just like,
God, David.
It was just like a blowtorch. It was literally a blowtorch, and he made it look like a flamethrower. And it was like, oh my God, dude, Elon's the fucking coolest. And he called it the boring company, which is it's ironic. Boring. It's actually not very boring at all because he made a flamethrower and then he never made anything again.
Yeah, literally. Dude, you know what's also a crazy random thing about Elon Musk that I remember like from time to time when like people are talking about him is the fact that like Post Malone brought Cody and Noel Miller over to Elon Musk's house, and they were able to like they met Elon Musk and like walked around his house, which is like such like a random group of fucking people to be like in the house. I'd be like as if like fucking James Marriott's like, oh, I'm gonna go to Elon Musk's house tonight if you want to come with, and then like he brings us two with him. And we're like, oh, hey, what's up, Elon Musk? And we're like able to just like walk around his house and like see what's up. And it's
dude,
like, what the fuck?
I'm not gonna lie, I would steal something. That would be the moment where I say, you know what?
You would have to.
100%. He wouldn't notice. Are you serious? Unless he has like those like things that they have at the stores where they can, they have a little, the item has a little chip in it, and they can detect when it's across the barrier, and it goes wee wee wee.
Dude, do you think he has like those Amazon grocery stores where like they have like the fucking auto detecting cameras that like if you just put in your cart, you'll know like to pay for that thing, and you'll just pay for it on your Amazon account. I wonder if he has that shit like in his fucking living room, where like you fucking slightly move like a fucking vase in his house. It's like, ooh, somebody's moving his shit, and then he just gets like a fucking like notification on his phone, like the vase has been moved. And he's like, oh, somebody's moving my vase. Maybe somebody's in the living room. And to see me fucking carrying his vase like out to the Uber.
I just know his ass would pull up and you'd be like, he stole. He stole.
This isn't yours, right? Is this
This is
yours?
not.
And you're like, no, it's not.
Let's put that back now. All right.
He literally would say some shit like, let's put that back where it belongs. And you'd be like, oh my God, Elon Musk, fine. I'll fucking put it back on a countertop. Like, you really need it. Like, that's the other thing about Elon Musk that's so annoying is like, he wants to be like, I bought a tiny home. Like, he bought a tiny home with fucking $100 billion to his name. Like, dude, this is the one time you should ball out on a house. And you fucking want to be a little nerd and be like, I can only live in a tiny home. I'm going to live in this
No,
tiny
exactly.
home.
Motherfucker has like
Fucking
10
Denver,
kids, and he's
Colorado.
like, I sold all my houses. All my kids live in the woods now.
So, dude, that's what it probably is. He just doesn't want to see his fuking kids. So he's like, all right, guys, I live in a tiny home. Like, get a hotel room or something. Like, I don't know what to
my
tell
toilet
you.
is next to my bed. This is how humble I live.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, if you don't want to go poop, then you can poop in the trash can that's over right next to my bed.
I have a poop hole behind my tiny home.
He's like fucking like puts kitty litter all over it.
Oh my God, man.
So
that
gross.
guy, I was to be a fly on the wall, man. Like, I genuinely want to. Also, like, that's another thing is he like CEOs are always like, man, we're busy. You know, a lot to do. We can sleep 5 hours a night because I'm a CEO of 5 companies. If you can be the CEO of 5 companies, it cannot be that much work. Like, seriously, if you can, because think of this, right? Like an engineer at SpaceX or Tesla, I don't think they could do both at the same time. It's a lot of fucking labor, especially with what is demanded of them. They could not hold 5 positions like Elon Musk. So him being like, yeah, I'm a fucking, and then at the same time, right, he has time to be like, yeah, I played Cyberpunk. I played the campaign of Cyberpunk. Like, when, motherfucker?
With what hours? Dude, you're sleeping 2 hours a night and you're telling me right now that you're like all you really need to do as a CEO, I feel like a lot of it's just like checking emails. It's like somebody wants you to fucking do something for fucking Boring Company. Like, hey, can you make moon shoes for Boring Company? And it's like, sure. Respond? Yes. And he fucking responds to that email. He has to go to fucking Tesla and like see what kind of emails he's getting over there. And then check SpaceX and then be like, okay, I'm all done. Now I can go ahead and turn on Rick and Morty and play Cyberpunk all night while Grimes is taking care of the baby. It's like,
Yeah.
God, you don't really have. It's not. It's. I obviously understand. Like, maybe it's a lot of mental work. Like, oh, you have to fucking keep up to date with everything. But it's not any comparable to the fucking people that are working under him.
No, I feel sorry for him because mentally it is very hard to fire an engineer for your tweets underperforming.
True.
Like, I'm sure it's not.
True. The person that fucking like responds to your tweet and is like, this is actually not working. Is like, see me in my office. You're fired. No,
It's.
don't do that shit again.
I think mentally it's very hard to fire people just because things are not going your way. I think it's very hard for him, and I think it's very hard for him to realize, like, that's the craziest part is he basically pissed 40 billion down the drain and it doesn't matter. Like, he's still one of the richest motherfuckers. He has lost more money than anyone in history and he is still up there. Like, just give me like 5 million. Like, I'm not asking for much. Just give me 5 million.
Like, compared to the 100 billion that he has, give me 5 million. You should at least give me 5.
Not
with
legit.
Taxes and all that shit, that's probably gonna be like 2.
If he gives me 5 million, I'll get off his ass like 100%. I'll fucking fold like a chair.
Okay. Elon Musk, I know you're listening to the podcast because you're probably scrolling through the Spotify charts and you're like, I wonder who's at 1,372. And you're like, oh, it's COOLDOG. And then you're watching us talk about you. And you're like, hold on a second. These guys are not very nice. I'll give you an ultimatum right now. We will DM you our Ethereum address and you must send us 50,000 Ethereum. If our demands are not met, we will continue to fucking dunk on you, you old nerd.
Yeah, we'll make fun of you, and we know you hate it. We know.
Or what?
Because here's the thing is, I know Elon Musk is sitting by his window like a little boy every night, looking up at the stars and wishing, oh, I wish I was a micro celebrity. Because I think this is the life he wants. I think this is what he wants to be, like a micro influencer like us, where we're not the richest men around, but you know what? We joke every now and then, and sometimes people laugh. Not all the time.
Yeah.
But every now and then people will say, you know what, that was a pretty good one. And that's more than he can say. That's, or maybe, you know what, maybe this is something that we, the poors, are telling ourselves so that we feel less shitty about ourselves.
We, the poors. Well, to be fair,
a billionaire.
It's like, if I started dating Grimes, everyone would be like, oh my God, slay, dream duo, such a cute couple. But Elon Musk
Mhm.
like thought he was gonna get that kind of reaction where it's like, oh, two niche celebrities like are dating now. Isn't that so cool? And then they're like, hey guys, me and Grimes are dating and we're having a baby. And he's like, I hope you die, you fucking bitch. And it's like, oh no, I guess I'm gonna post like some of my funny memes to fucking take away the pain. It's like, yeah.
No, the altos
You do
don't
that.
like me. They don't like me. It's not
That's
very
like what
good.
it is. He wants the alt hoes to like him, and we have the alt hoes on our side. Shout out the alt women
We do.
out there.
Shout out. Shout out. Y'all the goats. And
Y'all are the goats.
we respect you. And we
love
wouldn't
you.
manipulate you in ways of dating Grimes to win you over. We are just two dudes hanging out, and we appreciate you for listening to us. And that brings me to the end.
Of the podcast.
Thanks for listening to us,
forever.
guys. Yeah. Leave a comment. Don't forget, we're going to hand out golden stars from now on. So leave a comment and try to get one and see how that turns out for you, I guess.
And leave us some golden stars on wherever you rate your podcast. If it's iTunes, I don't know if you can do it on Spotify. It might just be iTunes.
You
So,
can. You
give
can
us
on
5
Spotify,
stars.
yeah.
Oh, well, give us 5 stars on Spotify.
Yeah,
you
and
might get one of your own.
like the video, leave a like and yeah, let's